Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your BSR MSA Kia World Series. Round 7 to 9 here of your championship start tonight. And we're here in West Virginia in the United States of America for a club circuit which hosts the World Series. We're here at Summit Point. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to watch. Cars, they're setting their flying laps at the moment. 10 minutes to do that. Jake Sparey here, joined alongside with Toby Burn. And Toby, what has to be said is this is a really tight track. You can only go realistically 2 or 3 wide around this circuit. It's very, very interesting to see what anyone is going to do around here, and it's going to be very interesting when overtakes are going to be so difficult to occur.
It is. It's going to be an interesting one. It's good to be back after not being here for Watkins Glen, and looks like I picked a good race to come back to. Yeah, and you're going to have to be really brave to even attempt a 3 wide at the maximum, as we're seeing a few cars doing that in practice, and a few cars taking the trip to the barriers as a result of trying to do that in practice, Jake.
Yes, it's very difficult here. We're looking at the number 20 of Max Wright at the moment here, heading himself now into what is technically the infield section, into turn number 5, and now he's got to deal with turn number 6, a very difficult slow right-hander, which morphs into 7 here, this right-hander over the curb, and you're just going quicker and quicker through the S's. That's turn number 8. This is turn number 9. Now you hit the back straight away, and now you get yourself into a run towards what is the final corner. Turn 10 on circuit, very difficult here. It's all about momentum in this final corner because of just how close the gravel trap is. Diguez 15.6, Viveka 14.2, but this is the first real lap we're going to see. Max Wright does a 1.11.6, puts himself on pole for the moment here, and Toby, it just seems as now he heads towards turn 1 and 2. He's doing a really good job of things so far.
That's a good job. It is a 10th, just over a 10th faster than his fastest practice time. As we look at Julian Janowski now, has just gone quickest from Nathaniel Simpson, just by over half a tenth, and it's been tight all evening here. It looks like it's going to remain this tight for us for the foreseeable future, Jake.
Yes, most certainly. What we have neglected a little bit for the moment is the Drivers' Championship. Let's get that one up on screen for you then, because Julian Janowski is starting to walk away just a little bit. The gap to Alex Everett in the Cymru team is 33 points overall. Behind that, it's a massive wait to see everyone who's trying to score points. Kit the Hairflick Stevens not here at the moment. Lewis Bibby, Nathaniel Simpson there with 2 race wins. Cesare Rizzo, Gabriel Pereira, you can see they're all there. But you've got to remember that 1 drop week. So you look at the likes of Melro, Newman, Viveka, who are all there waiting, who have not scored points yet. But Toby, looking at those Constructors' Championship, it's so tight at the moment. You look at the top 5 teams split by 101 points.
It's a fantastic start, isn't it, to have everyone so close together. You got the Discovery boys, you got the Bermuda boys, you got the Highland. Everyone is there, just ready to have a go at each other. And that's the great thing. We've got so many great drivers and such great teams. You know, the Discovery team and the Highlanders team, the Cymru team. They've all got fantastic drivers to power them along, and that really proves some great racing, as Melro now goes fastest by, again, just under half a tenth, over half a tenth around there.
Yeah, he's there faster by a tenth. He's the first man to break 1:11, 1:10.987 as we see Pete Newman and Diogo Melro both take to the gravel outside of turn number 3. Now, turn number 3 here, Toby, it's a very difficult corner because you're coming in, it's ever so slightly off camber, but you're in a position where if you go a little bit further out, it's not going to work out for you. You're going to be in a lot of trouble trying to get it. As you can see, cars piling up at turn number 5 here, trying to get out of the way of traffic. It just shows you just how difficult this circuit is when it's so close.
Yeah, this circuit effectively is like Monaco without the barriers, and it's been stretched out a bit. It's that tight. It is very tight, as we saw Melro actually driving clean off the chat and driving over the grass onto the other side of the track as a result of trying to get out of the way of traffic and not to block anyone. I think that's going to throw up some upsets in qualifying that we're going to see here, Jake.
Most certainly it will be, but the further that you go on, there is going to be one trouble, and that is tyres. When they start going off, which they will do towards the end of qualifying, it will mean it will be that much more difficult to get things right. We have 24 cars here at the moment. Kit the Hairflick Stevens joins in with just under half the session to go. He'll have probably 1 or 2 laps to get himself a good qualifying at the moment. Here's how things look then. Melro, Janowski, Simpson, Pete Newman, your champion in 4th, Viveka Everett in 6th, Ferreira, Wright, Murray. Penalties we do need to talk about here because a couple of drivers do need to start themselves further down the field at the moment. You've got to talk about the likes here of Carlos Diguez here, who has a back of the grid start. He has tried to put in qualifying at the moment. I think he will start from pit lane in that respect. And then you got Adam Hadfield as well. Now, Adam Hadfield had that incident, of course, with Julian Janoski, but that wasn't the incident which caused the penalty. It was his rejoin with Peter Van Gool here, Toby, and that was what was careless from him.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, starting, you know, as we're talking,
ladies and gentlemen, we've lost him just for a second here, but we will try and get him back as quickly as we can. But for the moment, we are in a really good position here right now to see how everything is going on. Nathaniel Simpson right now running himself through. Toby, are you there? No, it seems we lost Toby Burn for just a moment, so I'll hold things on until things get a little bit better. Simpson in third at the moment, heading for turn number 9 on circuit, has Janoski for company, which isn't going to work. It seems he's not on a lap because here comes Janoski, who will slingshot around the outside here, make sure he gets everything going. We are into the 3-minute warning here, into the right-hander final corner. Let's see what Janoski can do. Was a 1:14.1 last time by. Has got to find 2:10. Will he find 2:10? Answer being 1:11 flat. Goes quicker, but no, it's still not going to work. Toby, I'm going to ask again. Are you there?
are we here? Are we back?
We're here.
That's good, thank you. Sorry about that, it's just a technical issue there. Yeah, as I was saying, with those back of the grid penalties on a track that is so tight as this, it's going to cause a lot of upset and a lot of regret for the people who caused them incidents and then therefore given themselves the penalties. But yeah, still very tight and pole position with just over 2 minutes to go now. Still a lot to play for here, Jake.
Still a lot to play for indeed. You've got to look further down the field though, because there are going to be drivers left and right trying to get themselves a very good lap time. Looking here at Dave Christie in the number 22 machine right now. He's down in 19th on a 1:14.238. He hasn't put in any real good lap time as of yet. We'll see if he gets the opportunity to do so. Heads himself to the final corner, but gets a massive twitch midway through. And that's going to allow Diguez behind to making sure that he gets himself through. Will he get himself through? Answer is going to be yes before the line. Now the line here, Toby, is after the pit exit here. So that's going to be really interesting to see when people try and get their laps in sorted.
Yeah. It is going to be an interesting one, to say the least, and I think that will play, if there does tend to be any pit stops, which has been unlikely so far this season, I think that will, it will all come into play to make quite a big formula that the drivers will have to work out in the brain without trying to ram the car off in front of them. You know, a tight circuit, got to have full concentration while thinking. It is only sim racing, but we do forget that there's still a lot of processing power needed in these guys' brains to keep this thing going at the speeds they are going and achieving the times that they need, Jake.
Most certainly. 1 minute we are underneath. We're going to see drivers now try and do as much as they can. You look at the likes of Roy Paveka looking to get up further through the field. You look at the likes of Robert Plumley there, who is waiting in that 1:47 machine in 9th position at the moment. Pete Newman, Diogo Mauro together on circuit, both title rivals in what was the inaugural season, but now things are starting to change. The clock, half a minute. You got to look at drivers here who are going to get that final lap in. I think Ricardo Ferreira might be the cutoff point. Simpson will drive to the line then in 3rd position in the number 100. Let's see what he can do. 1:11.2. Will it go any quicker? Your answer being 1:15.7. No, certainly won't go any quicker than that. Kip Stevens just gets himself out, but it will be too little, too late. Ferreira rounding the final corner, 5 seconds on the clock. I don't think he's going to make it. This is the first lap you got to see. He's 4th at the moment. He needs to go quicker than that. Ferreira even does not go quicker. Everett does not go quicker. Melro doesn't. Newman doesn't. And I think a couple of people have just misjudged this. Klaus Pettersson now coming to the line for his first race of the season. Runs wide. Off-track penalty. Won't get anything. Plumley does something very, very similar in that respect here, and we're still looking for drivers to come through. You look at the likes of Roy Vaveka here, who's going to drive to the line right now. No, he's going to slow that thing right up and say, nope, my time can't go any quicker, and it's just showing how everyone is really struggling. Pereira comes in. Diguez will still charge to the line 11th at the moment, but I think he'll have to start from the back of the grid. It's one of those things here where he's really got to work it, and where you can see Julian Janoski then, he'll drive to the line as well. He'll come into pit lane. He'll do no better than that. So, as things stand, grid's complete. Let's see how this grid looks then overall. Diogo Melro then, pole position, 1:10. 5.987. Only man to break that barrier. And, well, Julian Janoski alongside championship leader will be very, very interesting to see how he does. Nathaniel Simpson will be along on row number 2. He's joined by Ricardo Ferreira. Robert Plumley, what a lap in the 147. He gets himself up into P number 5. He's joined alongside by your Season 1 champion, and that is Pete Newman's Discovery Machine. Roy Vervaeke for the Euro teams on row number 4 there. The Belgian against the Welshman, Alex Everett there. Welsh Dynamite trying to prove he is prevalent once again, with Max Rice and Lorne Murray locking out row 5. Row 6 for the moment, it's Carlos Daigoes and Peter Van Gool. Klaus Pettersson there in 13th, Gabriel Pereira 14th, Lewis Bibby 15th, Cesare Rizzo 16th, Craig McLeod-Evans, Stephen Hall, there is Jason Greenfield, Marius Mulder, Dave Christie. Carl's not setting a lap time. You look at Henry Reeder, the penalised Adam Hadfield, and also Kip, the Hairflick Stevens as well. So Toby, it's certainly going to be an interesting race to see. It's certainly going to be interesting to see who is going to prevail, who is going to be the best. Turn 1's going to be wider than you think. It's certainly going to be very, very interesting to see later on in the race.
Yeah, definitely. It does look quite tight from the camera angles, but I can assure you that it is a lot wider than it looks. And luckily, because, you know, when I was last commentating, we knew what happened as a result of a bottleneck corner as turn 1 at Silverstone. So qualifying there, reminiscent of today's Formula 1 qualifying, the track seemed to just not evolve towards the end like you'd expect it to, and therefore no one was able to improve on their banker times. But nevertheless, that sees us with Melra sitting on pole for race 1.
Yes, most certainly, and well, it's certainly going to be very interesting. 2 minutes to grid up. Pick for your race win?
It's a tough one, isn't it? It's so tight, but I think I'm going to be going with Melra on this one.
You're going to go with Mara. I can't look any further than Nathaniel Simpson. 2 race wins to his name in that 100. He's sniffing here, looking for an opportunity. And, well, he's certainly in the right position to do that. Just waiting for a couple of cars then to grid themselves up here. And we will be on a position to go. Of course, outside line is what is going to be the more rubbered in line. That's going to be the one where you're going to see drivers doing better. So even numbered cars have the better start. Just 30 seconds and a couple more drives to wait for. We're looking for the likes of Robert Plumley in the 147. Of course, he's streaming as well, and that's going to be interesting to look at if you're going to go onto Twitch and see exactly how his race is going to go. But you have to remember here, cars starting to rev, starting to get a little bit impatient here. 15 seconds maximum to go, or Robert Plumley will go into pit lane. There is Robert Plumley. He's on the grid, so now we've got to wait. The engines now starting to get up, revving, noisier. Round 7 in your BSR MSA Kia World Series on iRacing Live by Apex Racing TV is underway, and it's a great start from Diogo Maro. Look out on the second row, because here comes Nathaniel Simpson. Newman beats Plumley off the lines. They head themselves down towards the difficult braking zone of turn number 1 for the first time. Are we all clean? Answer for the moment is just about we are. I think everyone has just got through safely. Yes, they have. No, they haven't, because we've got a couple of spinners. Marius Mulder, one of them, and the other one who got himself a little bit mixed muddled up was Lewis Bibby. Head for turn number 3. Car still side by side. Car's going to take to the grass, and that, I believe, is the car of Ricardo Ferreira, if I'm correct there, Toby. It's a very difficult start. It's very difficult indeed, and cold tyres are paying dividends.
It really was, and what I would just want to give a shout out to Pete Newman. He got, as we got a big car off. I couldn't see, I think it was one of the Alba cars there, Jake, has just gone off straight into the wall. I can't see who that was. But as I was saying, Pete Newman actually got pushed out on the outside. He went all the way out the outside and lost about a good 2 or 3 positions. And as a result of that, he's somehow managed to get them all back, Jake.
Yes, he has. Lorne Murray was involved in that incident, and also in a separate incident, Craig McLeod-Evans as well. So Team Alba are really not having their own day. But we've got to look at the front here. Lap 1 is going to be score complete, and Diogo Maro has it at the moment. But you've got to look at the slipstream that's coming in. You look at Diogo Maro here. He's under threat from Janoski. Plumley looking at Nathaniel Simpson here. To the outside goes Diogo Maro. To the outside goes Robert Plumley. No, push yourself forward, because you're not going quick enough, son. Head yourself for turn number 3. And for the moment, Diogo Maro can hold on potentially. Dive for the inside potential move. No, room given, but no opportunity there, Toby.
No, definitely. And this is so tight between the top 4. I think that was Robert Plumley, yeah, like you were saying, had a really good run on Simpson. I'm surprised he didn't commit more of it. Obviously, we got to remember, as Simpson has actually bumped Janowski, and which has caused him to go wide and lose a position to Plumley. As I say that, he's now got Pete Newman all over his tail, and now Robert Plumley is on a storming charge. That's not Robert Plumley, sorry, I think that's Nathaniel Simpson is on a storming charge. It's someone behind Janowski, and they are all over the back of him, and Janowski's under a lot of pressure at the moment, Jake.
Here comes Robert Plumley in the 147 BSR Pro Series independent champion against Julian Janowski, and that's certainly one which was having promise, you had to say, at the start of the season. And here comes Plumley then in the slipstream, looking to try and make that move then for what is going to be second place. Moves to the inside on the brakes, but lost in the late breakers. Janowski's going to go too deep, and there's contact with your race leaders, but they keep it together, and Janowski's going to remain side by side. And you've got to look behind now, because Newman and Everett are certainly going at it hammer and tongs. This is certainly going to be one where you've got to get your eyes all over the track into turn number 3. Not going to happen for Everett. He's going to have to wait behind Toby. Oh, that could have ended in tears, but somehow they're all still going.
It really could, and I'd be livid if I was Melrose during that whole situation, Jake. I mean, just minding your own business, it's not your battle, and then somehow a late break attempt of Janowski to keep himself in front of Plumley almost causes a complete T-burn into turn 1. If that did escalate, I think that would be a slam dunk penalty for Janowski. That would have been very amateur hour. But yeah, like you said, it's going to be one of them races where you just have to stay all over, you know, with your eyes. You just don't know where the action's going to be next. I think we already have a few cars in the pits as well, Jake. It's been a scruffy start for some people, but at least the top 6 are in very close contention with each other.
Yes, they are. Cars in pit lane, and Stephen Hall, Gabriel Pereira and Law Murray. Another little look then from Robert Plumley down to turn 1, and again running a little bit deep there on the brakes is Julian Janowski. Gets it slowed down though, and he's found that area where he can just brake that a little bit later. That's just enough, but you have to say it could have been, with Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton being advertised for SummerSlam, an RKO out of nowhere. But you look at this, Janowski gets a bit of a slide out of turn number 3. Got to be careful heading for 5 into the kink of 4, and where you can see Plumley experience waiting behind on the brakes. Bit of a tap between the two. Push yourself through, and that's a real BTCC pass. Still the inside for Janowski. Not going to happen, surely not. They're going to remain side by side for the S's. This is fantastic here, Toby. No room being given, and I think Janowski's got it with 2 right-handers his way.
Yeah, definitely, and Plumley now gives him a tap up the rear. Look how close this is. Newman's got, I think that's Everett all over the back of him. Simpson now looking at the inside of Plumley. Is he going to make the move? He's definitely going to try it. Is Plumley going to be able to hold it out the outside? Is he going to get squeezed off into the gravel trap there? No, he's not. He's going to be able to survive this for another day. But look at this. Look at Newman now. Newman darting from one slipstream to another. Look, he's basically bump drafting Nathaniel Simpson up the straight, Jake.
Yes, he is. On the brakes into turn number 1. Noah's Ark 2x2. Battle for your podium. Everett's going to get some tap there from Pete Newman. Love bites and all. And where you have to say that loses his position. Roy Vervaeke staying calm. But you've got to look back, though. There's some Portuguese sailors waiting in the wings. You look at Ricardo Ferreira. You look at Carlos Daiguez. They're going to be in positions then to really try and pounce. Janowski's got a bit of breathing space. But the driver here, Toby, who has just got out of all of it, is going to be Jogan Marrow, but there is contact there down, and that is Robert Plumley. That is Nathaniel Simpson. Let's get a replay on screen. Toby, take us through.
Oh, that was, from what I could see there, Jake, it looked like Nathaniel Simpson just, I don't know if something happened with his brakes or anything, but he just came steaming down the inside, and Plumley got fired across the track, and then he bounced off the barrier, came back and hit another one, and he's lost a position to the Cymru car now, and it looks like the car might be a bit injured after that, and I do not think the virtual reality racer Rob Plumley will be very pleased at all, as he's gone wide at the gravel trap now. I think his car might be suffering some damage after that, Jake.
Well, you just had to say he ran a little bit too hot there into that right-hander as Everett looks at the inside for the final spot on the podium. Down the inside, makes it look like a piece of butter on toast, and gets that one sorted up into P number 3. But it looked like to me that Nathaniel Simpson just ran a little bit too hot into that corner, got on the grass, and well, your brakes just don't work when you're on the grass, and steering doesn't work as well. Couldn't stop the car, and well, it was just one of those unfortunate things for Robert Plumley. But now it's a 4-car scrap then for what is your final spot on the podium here, Toby. Roy Vervaeke waiting Ferreira waiting, and also waiting in the wings, Carlos Daiguez, and also Max Wright in the England team.
Oh my goodness, this. I thought Silverstone was tight. This is, it's one after another, and you know, bumper to rear bumper all the way through, everywhere you look. I'm trying my best to monitor gaps, you know, further down the field so you don't miss anything there, but everywhere you look, it's unfathomable how close these guys are, and there's really nothing anyone can do to get past them at the moment, because albeit the Cymru car at the front, they've all got each other's slipstream, and this is effectively negates the slipstream for anyone who is following a car that's also in the slipstream. But Carl, look in there, we've got a Portuguese sailor trying to go around the outside of turn 1. As I say that, though, I don't think he's going to be able to get it slowed down and go around the outside in time. No, he didn't on that occasion, but that was a valiant effort, to say the least, Jake.
Ricardo Ferreira then trying to get back up through the field. He's -2 at the moment for his day. Big shout out to Alex Everett at the moment. He's up 5 positions. Welsh Dynamite showing his worth at the moment as they head down into notorious turn number 5 on circuit gaps. Opening up at the front, it's remained at 1.8, but Everett just can't seem to get the pace to chase down his long-stay rival Julian Janowski and title challenger. So you have to say, you got to look at Roy Vervaeke. It gets very heavy over the curb there, Toby, and that's going to be very interesting to see as we're heading up towards halfway in just about a minute and a half's time. So you have to say Vervaeke is really trying to cut that circuit, but it can be not so beneficial as he heads into the final corner.
Yeah, and if you get that just a bit wrong, you're going to be taking a quick and swift trip into the barrier, and yeah, that's 7. Well, I mean, that's obvious that you don't want that. The battles further down in the field are starting to calm down a bit. Everyone's separating a bit, but that's definitely can't be said for these guys. As Vervaeke looks up the inside of Newman, there was a tap there, but they're all going to get through. And now the Portuguese sailor Ferreira is going to try and capitalise on that, Jake. He's all over the back of Vervaeke now. He's going to look to the inside, now to the outside. He's tried to sell on the dummy. But he's on the grass. Oh, and he's going to lose so much time, and he's going to go off into the gravel there. And that's just an absolute nightmare of a corner for Ferreira there, as he's now been under attack from another car, which I believe is his compatriot of Daiguez, Jake, with a Cymru car just waiting in the wings.
Yeah, most certainly. Peter Van Gordon just gets through. There's no point trying to sell the dummy if you look like a dummy when you get it wrong there. It didn't certainly work out for Ricardo Ferreira. You saw he tried to go to the inside, tried to go to the outside, tried to come back onto the inside again, ran out of room, tucked the back there of Roy Vervaeke and paid a very hefty price. Big shout out though to Adam Hadfield. He's come from the back of the field here, Toby. He's now running inside your top 10 as Peter Van Gogh is going to have to lose out on traction. It's now going to be top 9 as they're going to go 3 wide down the front straight away. Are we Talladega? Well, we certainly will try. We certainly will do it. The room just about given, and now we're 2 wide on the brakes down to turn number 1. Is it going to happen? No, but you've got to look ahead because Pete Newman's lost out the position to Roy Vervaeke.
Yep, and that's been coming for a while. But we're coming back to Hadfield. He is now up the inside of Ferreira here. Goes down the inside, and that's going to be a job done on his behalf as the car ahead of, is that Max right up ahead? It's just gone completely wide over the gravel trap. And he's going to get reeled in by this battle soon enough if he keeps doing mistakes like that. I think he went in a bit too hot, but I think that is Ferreira trying to go around the outside now. They're going to bump wing mirrors effectively, and now Ferreira has the inside. This is incredible. Is Hadfield going to be able to hold it around the outside? Not on this occasion, but he's looking for the cutback. There's a bit of a bump there as he tries to get the cutback. It's a bit too much drive, but that's Ferreira's got his place back, and he's got the job done and sealed, Jake.
Well, that's a fantastic effort from Adam Hadfield to try and get himself through. He pushed him on the gravel at everything in turn number 3. Didn't quite work out. Into the final corner they come along, turn number 10. There is an opportunity for that move. If you're interested on the gap at the front, that's 1.6 seconds at the moment. That one's just coming down slowly but surely, but not quite enough. You can see pulls over to the right-hand side. Defensive line taken by Ferreira. Knows he's not going to be taken. Use the cones as markers. You don't have marker boards around here. In America, you use cones to try and work out where your distance is. Get on the brakes. Get tight. Ferreira has it for the moment. But let's look at Pete Newman here, who is in P number 5. He's +1, but he really hasn't had the luck of the mill at the moment, Toby.
No, definitely. And I mean, it all started when he got pushed out at turn 1 and went that just a bit wide. But in saying that, he was able to get those positions back. So great effort from the reigning champion. But it's just one of them races. He's just circulating. He hasn't really got the flash of of sparks and talent we're used to see come flying out the back of Newman's car. It's just not with him. He's there, but he's not on fire as we'd usually expect this champion to be beating around the track. He is closing on Viverke though. He's thinking about a move. He's trying to get it set up as we go around this corner. If he can get a nice exit as he goes a little less wide than Viverke, he might be able to set himself up. I think he's far too back for an actual attempt of a move up the inside. But he's gaining, and yeah, just not happening right now for Newman.
0.3 of a second, not enough, especially when there's just still the hint of slipstream that comes up ahead from Alex Everett. Interesting to look at times here. 1:12.2, 1:12.2, 1:12 flat for Pete Newman here. He's within 0.3, but 0.3 not enough. You've got to be within 0.2 coming out of that final corner if you want any opportunity, but you've got to get yourself looking towards the front of this one. You got to look at Diogo Melro, you got to look at Julian Janowski, and what you really do have to look at right now is that gap coming down. It's 1.2 seconds at the moment, and 1.2 seconds could be nothing by the end of the race. It could be a great opportunity here, you got to say, Toby, for a move to happen, for something to happen at the end of this one.
Yeah, for sure. Janowski's been gaining a few laps now. I have noticed that. I just dropped back towards the back of the field to watch the Plumley and Greenfield battle, which has now involved Peterson after, it has to be said, Greenfield had quite a big off. I'm not sure if we're able to get a replay of that up on the screen. It just happened earlier this lap. Went straight on at the gravel trap when he was right behind Plumley, and that has brought Peterson into this battle now. And these two are fairly new, fairly inexperienced, and the battling down here now, it's nothing too spicy. But saying that, Peterson is very daring on the brakes comparing to Greenfield, and I think he might actually have the opportunity.
Going to interrupt you because here's Adam Hadfield side by side with Ricardo Ferreira right now as they head for turn number 3. Sorry to cut you off like that, but they're still looking at it. Hammer and Tong's going to remain side by side, door by door, as they head themselves now for turn number 4. I think the advantage now heads to Adam Hadfield, has the inside line. Oh, big twitch! Midway through the corner for Ferreira, keeps it together, get themselves on the brakes, but Hadfield runs it too deep, and now the opportunity around the outside starts to come in and pay effect. Here we go, this is fantastic between the two, and Hadfield's still trying to hold on. Inside line is going to be his now for the taking. What a move, what a half a lap of battling there, Toby.
I mean, this is the problem we have when we have battles everywhere. As you were describing that battle, Jake, Greenfield actually got past, and now he's managed to sell it on. Oh, Plumley's gone very wide and actually hit a car coming back on track there, just a tap on the rear. But yeah, that's a fantastic job. Greenfield up 2 positions in the space of not even a lap, not even half a lap. About a quarter of a lap, he got up a position into turn 1 and then followed it through, and Plumley is just slipping under the pressure. But yeah, as you were saying, the battle for the front is getting closer than it's ever been since the start of lap 1 now, Jake.
Most certainly. Number 2 versus number 14. 0.8 of a second. Final 5 minutes. We are now in underneath. This is certainly going to be something to see. Janowski versus Melro. This one for all the candy in the cookie jar. And now you have to say, Janowski's just got to do some reeling in, some more. But you have to look here. Battle for your podium now is going to happen because Viverke and Everett are there side by side, and well, Alex Everett has a lot of motivation to get this podium. He's got Janowski ahead of him, who's going to take some points away, and this is certainly going to be interesting. Run down to turn number 1. For the moment, he's not quite close enough. Let's see the gap, Toby, as they cross the line. Was 0.8 of a second, now only 4.
Yeah, and Janowski is on an absolute flyer right now. Everett also under pressure from Viverke. Newman also under pressure from Carlos behind him. And it's tight everywhere, but the battle for the lead is definitely something we ought to keep our eyes on, because Janowski is on an absolute storm. And forgive me if I'm wrong, Jake, but that no longer looks like a 0.4 of a second gap. That looks a lot smaller than it was. It might happen towards the end of this lap, into turn 1 maybe. I can see Janowski having a right old go on Melra, and I don't think Melra's going to give it up just that easily as Janowski would like. But it's going to be one to keep your eye on, because the gap is closing with every corner, Jake.
It certainly is. Janowski is really putting the hammer down. He says, this is my time. I want my 3rd race win in 3 race meetings. He really wants to see this one through. He really wants to make sure that he's scoring maximum points. Janoski versus Melrose, final corner. Oh, it got close, but now you can see just how much better that run was there. Janoski had to check up midway through, but to the right-hand side goes Diogo Melrose. No, going to come back across. Not going to happen this time. Buying to turn number 1. Gap starting to open up again for Alex Everett. Newman still has Daiguez there for a little bit of company. They had company down at what was Watkins Glen. We'll see them go into turn number 1. At the moment, by my reckoning, we got ourselves a few laps to go yet. Probably 3 of them, and you have to say it's very tight, and there is a lot of potential for a lot of good moves.
Yeah, definitely, and Janowski has still pulled in the gap, Jake, still all over him, and it's come down from 4 attempts at last lap to 3 attempts when he came into the last time, and there's a bit of, I think there was a tiny bump there, nothing to upset either car, but that just gives you an idea of just how better Janowski is under the brakes compared to Melrose right now. Melrose just really not into it in the brakes. He likes to get the car stopped nice and early. I'm not sure what the strategy is there. I think Janowski just has a lot more confidence under braking. But yeah, with a few more laps, Janowski's wanting to get this done as quick as possible and use any spare laps he has to build an advantage, and they're getting so close in the final corner. This could be it, Jake. I'll hand it back over to you because this might be the move we see for the lead change.
This could be the lead change that decides this race in round number 7. You can see in the slipstream to the inside goes Diogo Melrose, and I just think for the moment, later on the brakes again goes Janowski, trying to hold it around the outside. Can he get it sorted at turn 1 and turn 2? No, he'll have to wait behind. Gap across the line was under 0.2 of a second. He's really pushing it, and by my reckoning, 2 laps to go. Here's when they cross the line next. This is going to be sensational. This is going to be hammered down. There is a battle for your podium going on. We'll get to that one possibly, but we're going to stay with Julian Janowski and Diogo Melrose for the moment, trying to get a wider line in there. Is Julian Janowski to make sure he opens up the corner? No, doesn't happen. Into the right hander they come along of what is turn number 6 on circuit, and now the quicker lefts and rights that are going to occur heading towards the final corner. It's all about that run, and I think Diogo Melrose's got a poor run here, might get the opportunity even before the corner, goes a little bit defensive there on the line, doesn't track all the way to the left-hand side. Final corner coming up, and there one more opportunity, one more lap to go for these 2 drivers to claim themselves to be the winner in round number 7. They both have deserved it after the performances they did. First and second, 0.2 of a second across the line. They're looking towards turn number 1. On the inside again goes Diogo Melrose. On the brakes again, late goes the car of Julian Janowski, who's looking to cut back from there. No, that one's going to be cut off very shortly. Behind there, side by side to turn number 1. Everett having to heavily defend from Roy Vervaeke, and I think he just holds on for the time being. But we got to look here at Julian Janowski. His chances are running out. His opportunities are fading fast, and this is the prime one. Down on the brakes into turn number 5, on the brakes. He's going to try and set it up now for a great run through the infield section. That one's not going to work. If we look very quickly at Alex Everett, we're going to see he's going to be very calm in that respect as well on the podium. But there is contact with Roy Vervaeke, who loses all that time. But we're going to see Julian Janowski with one more chance to go. Turn 10, the only place he can make the move happen. Janowski, I don't think he's quite close enough. It's going to have to be very brave, do or die. The answer is do, because it's going to be Diogo Melrose who takes round number 7 of your BSR MSA Kia World Series here from Summit Point. Beats Janowski, and that wasn't convincing, but it was decisive. Everett will take a podium, and also you look at that, Vervaeke in 4th. There you can see Newman 5th, Daiguez 6th. What a race.
Yeah, that was absolutely phenomenal. Still got quite a few cars battling as they come up to the line. I think timing, what was saying McLeod Evans was very close to Greenfield, but that's not the case at the moment. But that was a phenomenal race. Janowski tried his very utmost, and he did everything he could have done. He tried his best. You can't do more than that, but with a tight circuit like this, there just wasn't the opportunities he was looking for. I honestly thought he'd be able to hold it around the outside, and the cutback move he attempted was also very good. But Melrose had that covered, takes the first win and lays down the gauntlet for what he wants to happen here tonight, Jake.
He certainly does want to lay down the gauntlet there, and you can see just how everything has ended up. Here are your classified results then from round 7 of your BSR MSA Kia World Series race. Brought to you on iRacing Live, here live from Summit Point, and Diogo Melrose in the end will pick up the win by 0.3 of a second over Julian Janowski in the Highlanders outfit. There you can see Alex Everett gets himself on the podium in third, with Roy Viveka fourth, Pete Newman there in fifth, with Carlos Daiguez there alongside in sixth. Max Wright then would finish 7th after a good result there. Ricardo Ferreira 8th. Adam Hadfield, special shout out to him, 23rd to 9th, plus 14. Take your hat off to him. Nathaniel Simpson there in 10th after the incident with Robert Plumley. You can see Kip the Hairflick Stevens there. Not the best race. He finishes off in the end in 11th position. He's up 11 though, which is a very good result for him. Peter Van Gool, Klaus Pedersen, you look at Lewis Bibby, Craig McLeod-Evans not getting as far forward as he wanted to. Jason Greenfield there. Robert Plumley bearing the brunt then in this race. And you look at the likes of Henry Reid and Marius Mulder. Cesare Rizzo is a lap down, so potentially on a full reverse grid he will be there trying to get himself forward, but cars not finishing the race. Lorne Murray, Dave Christie, Gabriel Pereira and Stephen Hall. So let's get ourselves then a driver interview, and the driver that we need to interview is your race winner right now. The driver that we need to interview is a Mr. Diogo Melro. Diogo, a fantastic race win for you. You win here at Summit Point in race 1 of the night. Certainly a fantastic result, and in the end you just held off Janowski to the flag. He was chasing you very, very hard though.
It was really hard to defend from him. He's much quicker than me, so yeah, I just had to try and defend on the first corner where he was attempting to overtake me.
Yes, of course, turn 1's going to be very, very crucial in terms of overtakes, but you do have to look at turns 4 and 5 there. They're very interesting to see. Moves could potentially happen through there. Also, there is an opportunity, you could say, into turn number 10. Most of this track's all about car placement, and if you put the car in the middle of the track, more often than not, you're not going to get overtaken. Was it a case of using the tight circuit to your advantage?
Yeah, on the first bit, you just have to place the car on the right part, and on the twisty section, you just have to make it right so you can get speed out of the corners.
Yes, most certainly. But right now, we are going to head over to the wheel. Samuli there behind the cameras. We're going to see him spin the wheel. We're going to see where this is all going to end up. Where you're going to start then for what is the second race of the night, the reverse grid. Samuli, take the spin away. It's a 20. It is a 20-car reverse. So therefore, Cesare Rizzo, your own teammate Diogo, he will start on pole position then by being 1 lap down. That's certainly going to be interesting. It's going to help the championship in terms of the constructors as well, especially when you're scoring points that crucially.
Yeah, every point is crucial. Let's hope Ches gets a great start and can take it from there.
He can take it from there. Let's hope that he does very well. Great result for you. A win for Diogo Melro for the Discovery team. But when we come back, round number 8 of your BSR MSA Kia World Series, live here on iRacing Live and Apex Racing TV. It's going to be after these messages. Do not go away.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Nick Candy, what a move. Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's gonna be into stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your BSR MSA Kia World Series, streaming live on iRacing Live here on Apex Racing TV. We're here from Summit Point. This is round 8 of your championship of 36 races. And well, if you want to come and join our series, if you like a bit of chocolate on your biscuit, then join our club. Join us in the description of the YouTube link, BSR Kia World Series. There is the Facebook page. Make sure you pay your dues, £2 per race weekend or £12 for an entire series. But if you if you are brand new to iRacing and you want to get yourself a brand new subscription, it's very easy. Join today, 3 months for the price of one with your promotional code PR-BSRTC, code down in the description. Along with this one, you can get €30 off of any JCL sim racing equipment to be faster with the promotional code 5VATA1KA. And of course, you got to give a shout out to Crest Glazing as well for all your double glazing needs in the Scottish Highlands here supporting the series. But very important stuff to talk about here, Toby, because we are now moving into hotter conditions. We now do have that 20-car reverse grid. Cesare Rizzo on pole position, and quite a few drivers who didn't have the best of race 1s have a lot of potential for race 2.
Yep, we've got everything set up here for an almighty race. I can foresee a few incidents. Obviously, iRacing hot conditions mean less grip, so we've seen a few twitches, a few steps of oversteer and stuff so far in race 1, so I'm expecting to see quite a bit more with the hotter conditions in race 2. We've got Rizzo on pole, so that's something in itself. We've got the reverse grid taking effect. We've got the fast guys at the back, as you'd expect, and let's see how the slower guys handle turn 1 going into it for the first time, Jake.
What will be interesting, of course, this is such a tight track, and we have said this before about how tight a track Summit Point Raceway is, and you have to look at it this time and think, you know, these guys starting at the back here in 20th or what have you, they're going to have a lot tougher of a time trying to get themselves through the field. Granted, there's going to be a couple of incidents here and there, but getting past a guy who's about half a second slower is a lot more difficult around a tight and twisty circuit like this than, say, a Spa-Francorchamps or a Watkins Glen, where you've got a massive straightaway where you can make the move sorted.
Yeah, definitely, and there's not even that many. Like, maybe turn 1 or turn 3 are your main opportunities to send one up the inside, but there really isn't that much unless you go on to be daring and go 3 wide, which we've seen. It's not always guaranteed to work out, and it depends. I think the people who we are going to see making these daring moves get by are the people who haven't got as much to lose. I don't think we're going to see people like Melra, Ferreira, Janowski, you know, the title leaders and stuff like that. I don't think we're going to be able to see them throwing it and risking all the car on the line, because as we had in that interview with Melra, every point is crucial here.
Every point most certainly will be crucial, and well, you got to remember there are going to be thoughts heading on to what is next week as well. They're going to start playing in the mind for the very first time in the BSR MSA Kia World Series. We're heading to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. If you can work out what circuit that is, fair credit to you. It's Imola for those who don't know, and that's certainly going to be a very tight track. It's certainly one that suits the car, but we're going to focus again here on Summit Point because we are in a position where you've got to look at these guys here who are at the front. They have the best opportunity they will have arguably all season to get themselves a race win. And in race 2's gone by, you have to look at Lewis Bibby, who was there towards the front. He won in the end by 10 seconds because of all the battling behind, Toby.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I mean, if you get away and get like he did that day, if you do get away and everyone does battle like they did, it is easy to get away like that because it's so tight. You know, when you try to make a move, I mean, in normal race standards, it will cost you time trying to make a move and battling. But on a track like this, where it's so tight, of course it's going to cost you time. And he got it all completely right that day, and he earned that win. And maybe, it's not unspeakable, it's not impossible, maybe someone like Rizzo can do a similar job today.
maybe he will need the stars to align and the luck to go out, but there are a couple of drivers who could potentially place themselves in a very good position then for what is race number 2. And of course we have one more reverse grid after this in what is the third race of the night, round 9 of the championship. That will be done in evening conditions. But for the time being, we're going to have ourselves 15 seconds left of this practice session before we get ourselves into round number 8. We can get you through a very quick 1-minute grid in just 1 moment's time. The clock ticking down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. BSR MSA Kia World Series is go. And now, in just a couple of seconds' time, we can manage to get you your grid for what is going to be round 8 of your BSR MSA Kia World Series, streaming live on iRacing Live and here live on Apex Racing TV. So at the end of it, Cesare Rizzo will get on pole. He's joined alongside by Marius Mulder. Henry Reeder there in third with Robert Plumley in the 147 fourth. Jason Greenfield 5th. Craig McLeod-Evans in 6th. Bibby 7th. Petterson 8th. There you can see Van Gool, Stevens, Simpson, Hadfield, Ferreira, Wright, Digwez, Newman, Viveka, Everett, Janoski, Melro, Hall, Pereira, Christie and Murray. 24 cars done in about 20 seconds. Not really too bad, but you pick for the race win then, Toby.
Very hard to choose. I think the guy in the best position for his skill amongst the drivers is definitely Plumley. One to keep out if the luck comes his way for a change.
Definitely one to look out for. My money then is going to be on Kip Stevens for his first race win. He was there 18th to 10th, and now he has the potential to do it again. Just a couple of drivers once again we are waiting to try and get, and then we will be out and away and going for gold, going for glory here. On comes Robert Plumley into session, just waiting now for absolutely no one here because the engines are revving, the lights on top of the gantry are green lit just about now. Here we go, we are underway here at what is Summit Point. A good start from Plumley there on the second row, but has to bump draft behind Mulder, and that's going to close everything up. Look at the run Lewis Bibby's got. He's going to try and thread the needle. Head himself down to turn 1. Contact. Marius Mulder turns himself around down at turn number 1. He's planted on the apex, and they've got to go and bottleneck behind. Digwez will go off as well there, and it just seemed that everyone bottlenecking up. Plumley had nowhere to go, and in the end, Plumley involved in an incident that really didn't need to happen, and Plumley himself will spear hard into the wall down at turn number 3. It's all gone wrong for Plumley once again here, Toby.
Yeah, and that is Plumley's main problem is his luck. He never has any luck lately, and that is an absolute heartbreak for a man who had arguably the best position to win this race, but a phenomenal start from Lewis Bibby. That was insane. I was actually watching...
Well, contact, that's Diogo Melro turn around there down in the field. That's Melro there involved with Max Wright and also the car of Jason Greenfield. Now, the incident that's happened there is that Jason Greenfield's trying to get out of the way of everyone, trying to serve a slow down penalty. Hasn't worked out in his favour. Instant has turned himself around, and many drivers then getting caught out in these opening laps here. But there is Constance coming in through. Cesare Rizzo is out and away for the moment, but he's got Lewis Bibby, who is so good in this race too, there in second. Henry Reeder in third. McLeod-Evans fourth. Petterson under attack from Hadfield. Battle for 5th on circuit. On the brakes they go here, Toby, and around the outside, and a bit of door rubbing to go with.
It's phenomenal, and that's another thing we should have talked about with this track being so tight. Penalties may cause another incident like they have. Melro going around, obviously.
Well, actually, I'm going to stop you because Hadfield in the air and across the circuit and on his roof rolling, and that's all gone wrong. He now heads to pit lane because his race is over and done with. Replay up on screen. That has all gone horribly wrong for the driver of Adam Hadfield. Down to turn number 3. Toby, did you get a look at it?
I caught the aftermath of it, and that was a big one, as I'm currently looking at the battle between Simpson and Everett. Simpson just muscled his way up the inside of Everett there. No love given in that respect, but there, that was a big one. And never underestimate the track. It may be tight, but it's always going to cause a massive incident. Nathaniel Simpson is on an incredible charge at the moment, Jake. He's just overtaken Everett, and he's already looking a car of the exit of the very next corner. He's not going to be able to do it, but he's in the slipstream. He's gone a bit wide. He's got Everett all over the back of him. But an incredible start to this race from Nathaniel Simpson, who now goes defensive from Alex Everett. Is Everett going to look to the outside? He's now going to pull over into the slipstream. That's quite clever of Everett, but I'm not sure it's going to cause him to hold up. And there's a car going slowly, which will slow Simpson up. This is so close. Look at this. It's unbelievable. Simpson now is trying to find a way past these two cars in front of him. not one going, but I think he's going to be able to send one to the inside if he's brave enough on the brakes, which he isn't, but Everett is. Car almost going, I think that was Janowski even, was very brave. Very brave on the brakes there, and it just all went wrong for him. But the battle, Everett and Simpson, Jake, are slicing through the field.
Well, you got to talk about Pete Newman as well, because he's up there in P number 5 at the moment. This is the battle for your podium. Craig McLaren-Evans is going to have to play a very strong defensive game. You go back to Brands Hatch last season, ultra strong, held on for a podium, second place. You talk about what he did at Silverstone National. He's so good when it comes to defensive driving. Kip Stevens will look then. Battle for your podium, no. Will sit out of it. Waiting there in the rings as well is also the car of Ricardo Ferreira, just sitting there patiently waiting. Simpson there waiting. You look at Alex Everett there, who is really looking to try and get another podium finish tonight. They're side by side, 2 by 2 almost. Down the front straightaway, Stevens has been pushed forward up into the podium position, and now Pete Newman has a look there, make sure he forces the gap open, gets the move sorted. Now it's Ferreira's turn, and well, you can't put a cork in the wine bottle right now, because now McLaren-Evans in a whole heap of trouble.
Unbelievable, yeah, you talk about wine bottle. I think Craig McLaren-Evans is trying to make it a champagne bottle for when he gets on the podium. Not happening is the Iron Imperial Wall's defence, as you call them at Silverstone, is not in force here today. It was actually quite easy in the end for them two cars to get past him. But Nathaniel Simpson and Everett there again, look, Jake, they're still there slicing their way through the field. And they're in the heat of this battle now. These two are carrying each other through the field. It's phenomenal to see. But Rizzo has got a nice 6-tenth gap over Bibby. Bibby slightly closing it, and I actually say that as I've cut to the camera now of Rizzo, and Bibby is all over the back of Rizzo, and I get the feeling that it's only a very short matter of time before Bibby gets the move done for the lead. Jake?
Yes, most certainly. Plumley out then, Hadfield out, Muller, Mulder and Pereira. Muller, well, we can try keep going on Bayern Munich jokes, but it's certainly not going to happen. On the brakes down to turn number 1, and it just seems for the moment two different lines contrasting, and Cesare Rizzo holds on for the moment. This is the closest he's been, and he's got a great opportunity because he's 7 seconds clear of Kip the Hairflick Stevens and Pete Newman, who will be looking to try and chase it down. Lewis Bibby's been in this situation before here, and you talk about experience in this series. You talk about the experience for Lewis Bibby of trying to become a race winner. He's already got one under his belt. He's done it at this circuit, and surely he sits himself in great stead just to play the game of cat and mouse with Cesare Rizzo and make the move later on in the race.
Yeah, definitely, and this looks like this track is Lewis Bibby's lucky charm. He's just got something up his sleeve. He's just got the extra speed here to really convert it into the places of his own wins. You got to look at the moment though, between Ferreira, Evans, Simpson, Everett, Van Gool, all very close at the moment. And it does look like McLaren-Evans is actually under a lot of pressure from a Cymru car. I think that might be Everett. Speaking of the devil, he's under a lot of pressure. Did he get a bit of a twitch there, and Everett's going to use that to get up the inside before they're even on the final straight. And I think, who's that behind him? Is that Van Gool in the slipstream? They may have ability. Are they going to make this free wide? I think they are. Van Gool looking to go up the middle of them. Everett's already got the job done on McLaren-Evans. Is he going to lose another one to Van Gool? He just tapped the outside. Oh, and Van Gool just taps Everett. But they've all made it through in one piece somehow. And there's another car right behind McLaren-Evans now. I can't quite see who that is.
That's Roy Vervaeke there, Toby, and it's certainly going to be very interesting to see how this battle goes on. Sorry to cut you off like that. And on the back of this group is Julian Janowski as well. But look at the time that's been lost then for Alex Everett. He is now off the back of the group with Nathaniel Simpson. It just shows you, if you just get caught behind in the wrong place at the wrong time, the time goes, and you can see just how hard they're working. Let's just compare times then between Kip Stevens and Lewis Bibby. You look at Kip Stevens, 1:11.9 last time by. Lewis Bibby, lap time didn't count, but Cesare Rizzo did a 1:12.8. That is a full second a lap. That is slower for the leaders right now, and that's going to be so careful to look at. As you can see, Cesare Rizzo sticking tyres down in the gravel. They could be caught by the end of the race, and that will be so heartbreaking if they can't get the result that they so truly wanted, Toby.
Yeah, definitely using all the track there, Rizzo, and a bit more to go with it, but unfortunately for him, it was no courteous runoff areas that we see so much on new trucks these days to help him get away with that on that occasion, and that's only going to cost him more time. But it has to be said, he's holding his own against Bibby right now. Bibby's not able to even get within overtaking range at the minute, so you've got to give a shout out to Rizzo on that respect. But battles everywhere you look. Yet again, it's just something about this track, Jake.
Something about this track, indeed. Looking here at the battle for your podium then, Kip the Hairflick Stevens just holding station at the moment at the front of this train. Pete Newman there behind champion. Of course, you do have to talk about their own little feud that they've got going on. Of course, Pete Newman was once called a wrecker by Kip Stevens, and while the support for Kip Stevens, who was third in the championship at the time heading to the final race at Suzuka, was in the corner of Diogo Melro looking for the championship. So that might play into effect. There you can see Nathaniel Simpson there is waiting. You look at Ricardo Ferreira in that train as well, looking for an opportunity of a podium. Potentially there is a race win if they can close it down. Let's look at the gap again here, Toby, as they cross the line. Kip, the Hairflick Stevens, is looking for an opportunity, but let's go to the leaders because Lewis Bibby's looking. He's looking for an opportunity, but no, it won't happen down to turn number 1. Gap down, 4.8 seconds.
Yeah, definitely, as we're watching right now. I'm watching Verke and Van Gool about to do some synchronized swimming, a team swap, I think, but unable to let his teammate through. He's actually let Julian Janowski through. That was a bit of a mistake on the synchronized swimming attempt there between Van Gool and Verke, and that's not worked out, as that's helped one of the faster cars slice his way through. It's not the one of the fastest car furthest ahead, but he's making his way, and there's a very big battle going on here between who's that? Is that Newman? That's Ferreira, that's Simpson, and Kip Stevens. This is very close. This has been closer than it has been for quite some time now. Ferreira very, very close to Newman, almost pushing him through that corner, Jake. As Simpson is there just waiting. Obviously, Bibby is also waiting for his opportunity on Rizzo, and actually cutting back to them on the main straight now. It's very close to see if he's going to be able to. He's not even going for the slipstream as Bibby, maybe dealing with getting just a bit too much hot temperature off the car in front of him, I'm not sure, but for whatever reason opting not to go. He's trying to look up the inside, trying to give Rizzo a bit of a scare, but Rizzo is, very close, very close. This is the opportunity that Bibby has been looking for. Rizzo was very slow through that first corner, Jake.
Yes, he was, and well, now you've got to see Lewis Bibby looking for the opportunity into turn number 3. They come along on circuit. No, not close enough. Klaus Pettersson then is out of your race. An incident with Carlos Daiguez further back through the field. Can't get a replay of that one for you. It's a little bit too far back, but you can see just how they're pushing themselves, just looking for a way through. And that wider line being taken this time from Lewis Bibby. He's desperate to find a way through. He just can't find it at the moment. And it just seems, just for the moment, that he's going to have to wait yet another lap. But still, that train is coming through. They're not making moves here. Technically, you could argue they're working together. It's almost like a peloton here, where they put one guy at the front, do all the work, and make sure you chase the guy down and get the result that you want, Toby.
Yeah, definitely. I've just seen a Kumru car go very wide as I cut back to the Verke battle there. That might cost him a bit, and it's actually put him under pressure from Roy Verke. But yeah, these guys are definitely catching, and they're catching at a supreme rate of knots.
Battle for your race lead, though. Going to cut you off because side by side for turn number 1. Lewis Bibby looking to make it 2 in a row. On the inside,
contact.
They both go too wide, and they both go too deep. And Rizzo's off circuit, and that's going to cost them masses of time. And now you look at the ensuing train that comes along at just over half distance. And now it's just a case of willing. It's a case of time. Bibby's got to escape because Rizzo has to play defense now. He's got a podium at stake, and Kip the Hairflick Stevens is chasing down like a hurricane.
Heartbreak, dream broken there then for Rizzo as Bibby came steaming up the inside, banged doors and sent Rizzo about as far as he just sent Rizzo's dream of winning this race out of the window there, obviously causing this train that was already gaining an enormous amount of knots to be all over Rizzo, and Rizzo hasn't got the slipstream in front of him to help defend anymore, so he's going to be under a lot of pressure from Kip Stevens any minute now, Jake.
Yes, he will. There are battles going on up and down your field. Cesare Rizzo then under threat. The gap was 3 seconds. Now look at the gap when it crosses the line. I bet it's not even 1.5. The answer is it's 1.4 seconds. Called it yourself. Kip Stevens is there, and he has potential now because he's broken away from Pete Newman. He has a chance of being a winner for the very first time, and he's got a great opportunity coming out of turn number 2. Rizzo's not got the best of runs. Could be a look to the inside here for Kip the Hairflick Stevens of the Bermuda team. And no, doesn't go for it, waits behind just for the moment. So for the time being, there is potential to go on. Looking back at Alex Everett now, under threat from his long-term rival, Julian Janowski here. They're going to head themselves now for turn number 4, turn number 5. If you talk about the championship, this is the most crucial one, Toby, because they're 1 and 2, and Janowski's beaten Everett already on one occasion tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and Janowski is all over the back of Everett. Everett, of course, not having a slipstream either. I think that's Ververke just watching in the background as well, in case there's any tears, which there usually is when these two go side by side through a corner. As talking about the Rizzo and Kip Stevens battle again, just to give you an insight, Rizzo's last lap was a 1:15.1, Stevens was a 1:12.1. A full 3 seconds, and I think this is it for Rizzo. Kip is very close, looking to the outside, now the inside, the dummy being sold there, he's going back to around the outside. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to outbrake Rizzo. He's not outbroken him, but I'm not sure if we've got Newman
but
going
Rizzo's
on the inside.
outbroken himself. Oh, they're going to get so close, they almost touch as they head themselves now towards turn number 3, side by side. 5 cars within the space of a second. Sorry to cut you off again like that, couldn't resist. And now Newman looks down the inside, and now you can see
Rizzo's got it wrong.
over 6 and 7s, side by side, 2 by 2. Head yourself for turn number 5. Round the outside, Kip Stevens has to do it. On the brakes they go, inside for turn number 5. Newman will get a great opportunity. Round the outside tries Cesare Rizzo. The battle for the podium just heated up. And now you got to look at Kip the Heffling, who's got it. But there is contact there with Pete Newman. There with, I believe that's Ricardo Ferreira behind. 5-car train, and they've all got the potential here, Toby.
Yeah, definitely. Rizzo and Newman are going to have to be so careful being teammates as well. I can sense some synchronized swimming again between teammates coming up here. Ches needs to let Newman go at this stage, but he's so determined. Look how just determined Rizzo is to get that position back. I think this is for bragging rights, but in terms of championship position, I honestly think Rizzo needs to let his teammate go, because his teammate has got a much better chance of catching and overtaking that car ahead of him at this moment in time, Jake.
Yes, he does. On the brake, there's contact!
Contact!
And Kip Stevens will go sliding across the circuit.
Rizzo into the
Contact
back.
with Rizzo. Secondary contact turns him around. It's all gone horribly wrong. Janowski is through now on Alex Everett, and now Kip Stevens' opportunity is dashed in the blink of an eye. It happens just like that. Round the outside goes Janowski. That car is heavily damaged, and you have to say it's game over. There is a battle going on for second and third at the moment, and it's Ferreira versus Newman. Ferreira looks at the inside. Brake check there on the brakes, couldn't go too deep. But wow, what have we just seen, Toby?
That was. I'm not sure. I didn't see what happened there. There was quite a. I only caught the aftermath of it when I saw Kip going sideways, but I can only assume that someone's gone for a move and they've quarter-panelled like we talk so much about in these cars, and it's just ruined his day. But Newman getting through, kind of the winner in this one. But saying that, Ricardo Ferreira's not prepared to let him go either. Looking at the gaps, this is the closest gap on track at the moment, and Ferreira's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. He's got a finger on the outside. Surely not. Surely he's a bit too back on this occasion. He is. Newman gets a decent, and look at that coming up. Simpson out of nowhere, steaming up there. I think that was outbraking himself as he goes a bit wide in the next corner. But the closest gap on track right now is this Ferreira-Newman battle. Ferreira desperately looking for an opportunity as Nathaniel Simpson is waiting for something to happen, Jake.
Yes, he is, but you have to talk about your race leader. We've completely forgotten about him in a very similar vein to how he was forgotten at race 2 the last time we were at Summit Point, and that's Lewis Bibby in the England car. And right now, he's got himself 3.5 seconds to play with. We've just got himself about 3.5 minutes to go, if not 3 minutes. So you have to say, Pete Newman now under a lot of pressure to hold the podium. The BSR Kia World Series champion right now is looking for a great opportunity. The upstart Ricardo Ferreira and Nathaniel Simpson, ever the consistent. Here as they head themselves into the final corner, we're going to have to check the times to see if we think it's going to happen. Janowski's waiting in the wings as well. Times across the line for Pete Newman does a 1:12.7, 1:12.5 for Lewis Bibby. Bibby's pretty much got this, and he's got himself just a couple more laps to hold on here, Toby.
Definitely becoming a fast favourite for Lewis Bibby. About to take his second only ever win at the only track he's ever won at as well. It's a fairy tale coming true for Bibby, as he caused Rizzo's fairy tale to smash in very front of him. But this is a 3-car train, now a 4 train battle, as there goes Ferreira. Ferreira looking around the outside, now turns to the inside, now the outside again on Newman. Is he going to swing it around the outside? That's a beautiful manoeuvre from Ferreira. Gets the inside. That was a phenomenal, that was move of this race. There was contact there between Janowski and Newman. All get away with it, but that was definitely move of the race there by Ferreira. Beautiful swing around the outside, but Newman's not going to let it go. Newman's got a better exit on this occasion, but is not going to be able to do anything with it, as Janowski and Simpson are very close to each other and very close to this battle, Jake.
They certainly are, and like a Portuguese caravel, that was just so serene. It's unbelievable. And you look now, you look at how many laps they've got to play with. How much time do they have to play with? The answer is 18 minutes, 18 seconds when they come across the line. It's going to be 2 to go. Ferreira's got to go defensive here, and now you can see Newman looking around the outside. Simpson looks to the inside. There is contact between the two. Janowski has to check up, and there's the gap that Ferreira wanted. This one might be sorted for second, but by Jove, it's certainly not sorted for third. Here at this moment, you can see moving into the left-hander then of turn number 3. No, not quite close enough just for the moment. Pete Newman looking for a chance, looking for an opportunity, looking to just hold on just for the moment. I don't think he's close enough to Ferreira anymore, and I think the gap's eked out too much to Lewis Bibby. Barring any instance going on, you have to say this has been fantastic, and there are other battles going on. You look at Everett, Stevens, Viveka. That one is still going on. That one is still looking for an opportunity. That one is still looking for points, for prizes, for what could be a fantastic race result. Simpson has come all the way back from 11th, Newman from 16th, from 19th, Janowski has gone on to 5th. And it's really showing right now how everyone is just putting in the stint that needs to go. White flag is out this time by 1 more lap to go. Newman on the defensive. Here comes Nathaniel Simpson. He'll have to do it the long way round. Down at turn number 1. And don't count out Janowski on the brakes. He goes too deep. There's contact. Oh my word, all 3 of them go off, and Janowski's going to be gentleman about it. He's not going to make his way through, but here comes Everett, here comes Stevens, here comes the opportunity that he was looking for. There's still a podium yet, and there, down on the brakes. No, not going to happen, but we are going to have to cut away at some stage, and we'll cut away after this next corner coming up, because you have to look at it. No, I don't think there will be any more moves after this. As you can see, Kip Stevens down the inside. Not going to happen. Let's look at Lewis Bibby then, because he has 3 corners to go. And, well, you have to say, some tracks suit some drivers. And this track at Summit Point is a true racer's track. And Lewis Bibby proves for the 2nd straight time he's a true racer. Bibby! 1 more corner to go for the England driver, and he's a winner again here in race 2 at the circuit of Summit Point. What a win for Lewis Bibby, who revitalises it. 2nd place across the line goes to Ferreira. Newman will come across 3rd. Simpson, Janowski, Everett. Wow. We couldn't have asked for a grandstand finish. Oh my word, Toby, what a finish that was.
Definitely not. You can almost hear your voice going from all of the excitement that went on that race. That was a phenomenal, absolute dream finish then for Bibby. 2nd win of all time here at the same track. Definitely a fairy tale story to go by there, Jake.
Definitely a fairy tale story, but for some drivers here today, this 2nd race of the night, it certainly was not a fairy tale. Henry Reeder started 3rd on the grid. He's only just going to come across the line. He's the last of the cars on the lead lap. Now we can get you a classified result then for what is round number 8 of your BSR MSA Kia World Series, streaming live on iRacing Live here on Apex Racing TV. And Lewis Bibby has won out in the end by 3.1 seconds over the car of Ricardo Ferreira. Pete Newman will finish up on the final guy on the podium with Nathaniel Simpson there in 4th. Julian Janowski will outshine his rival Alex Everett once again in 5th, Everett 6th. Kip Stevens there will finish in 7th with Roy Viveka in 8th. Peter Van Gool 9th. Diogo Mauro, after that lap 1 incident, well, he managed to fight back for a top 10, but it certainly wasn't convincing. Hall there in 11th. Cesare Rizzo 12th. And looking back down, McLeod Evans, the likes of Jason Greenfield, the likes of Henry Reeder, cars that failed to finish the race. Look at Murray, Christy Mulder, Peterson there, Pereira, Hadfield, and the very, very unfortunate Robert Plumley as well. But we are going to try and quickly grab a driver interview. Let's bring in the other of the Discovery guys, and that is a driver known as a Mr. Pete Newman as well. And here he is. Pete, what a good race that was. Third in the end. It was just getting tight towards the end. Everyone was just going in at 6s and 7s. And as soon as you caught Cesare Rizzo, the fireworks started.
Yeah, I tell you what, as soon as that moment hit, I just said over Mumble, you know, this is what everybody's been waiting for, because like I knew fireworks were going to come. Like Ricardo was on my tail, obviously Nate behind him. Like they were getting rowdy, they wanted past. I was content behind Kip as we were catching them up, and yeah, as soon as we got up with Ches, I had to try and make moves and stuff, and yeah, going too wide through the fastest corner on the track into the heavy braking zone and surviving was pretty epic.
Pretty epic, but there were a couple of incidents there throughout that race, throughout that section where fireworks started to go off, which just seemed to halt your progress a little bit, slowed you down, and in the end, it just meant that you couldn't quite catch up to the driver of, say, Ricardo Ferreira, who did a fantastic job of getting around the outside of you down at turn number 4 and 5. You talk about the likes of, say, Lewis Bibby, who gets a second consecutive race 2 win here at Summit Point. It just shows you, it just didn't quite pay off.
No, it's one of those ones, you know, I had the opportunity to try and catch Lewis. I think at one point when I was in second, got up to second, it was like 4.4 seconds. I had a lap behind him and I didn't really catch up, so, you know, Lewis did a great job out there and thoroughly deserves the win.
Thoroughly deserves the win, but we are going to now head over to the wheel because we're going to spin for the final race of the night. Evening conditions, round 9 of your BSR MSA Kia World Series. Samuli, spin the wheel because we're going to find out where the reverse grid lies.
Yeah, buddy.
It's another 20, which means we have a full reverse grid. And because of the lap down rule, it means that Henry Reeder will be there on pole position. You're going to be starting then in what is P15 for this one then, Pete. And you have to say, you started 16th last time. You've got every impetus and opportunity to get yourself back through the field.
Yeah, it's going to be another interesting first lap, I think. Hopefully can survive that, and yeah, be happy with the top 10, to be honest.
Be happy with a top 10, be happy with anything. Pete Newman, 3rd place then for the Discovery team. Fantastic result for him, but when we come back, final race of your night. If race 2 was anything to go by, race 3 is going to be an absolute treat. Don't go away, we'll be back after these short messages.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be into stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
The final time tonight, welcome back to your BSR MSA Kia World Series, streaming live on iRacing Live, brought to you by Apex Racing TV. And why do I say MSA? It's because we have official recommendation and we have official branding from the British Motorsports Association. We are officially recognised as a group on there. And of course, if you want to join the BSR MSA Kia World Series yourself, if you think that you're quick enough in this Kia Optima, go join our Facebook page, facebook.com/groups, and it will be the BSR Kia World Series. £2 per race weekend, or £12 for an entire race series. And of course, if you are brand new to iRacing, you want to get in and you want to join the action, 3 months for the price of one with a promotional code PR-BSRTC. All promotional codes will be down in the description below, as will this code. Get €30 off of any JCL sim racing equipment to be faster with the promotional code 5VATA1KA. And of course, we are also sponsored by Crest Glazing for all your double glazing needs up in the Scottish Highlands. Toby, we were treated to a fantastic result then in what was the second race of the night, third race, final race, and the grid reverse is a little bit shorter, which could mean that traffic's going to be a little less difficult for cars to manage getting through.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, another reverse grid, which will have effectively more than a reverse grid due to the finishing positions of the last race. We're going to have a very mixed grid. A lot of cars are going to be out of position, and if we've noticed in this series as well and real race series, if you notice, when cars are out of position, it usually does make for some great overtaking manoeuvres. And if we get any more manoeuvres like Ferreira pulled off in race 2, then we are in for one hell of a spectacle, Jake.
In for one hell of a spectacle we could be, but there are a few talking points we need to talk about. Firstly, you got to talk about the bad luck here of Robert Plumley. Not only does he have himself an incident which crashes him out of the race, but for the final race of the night now, he has to start and do it from the very back of the grid. He's had the pace all race weekend to go and be absolutely fantastic. We thought race 2 was going to be his great opportunity, but it just seems as soon as he's come into this BSR MSA Kia World Series, it's just been his kryptonite.
Yeah, definitely. I've struggled to see someone with more bad luck than him through these last races. Another one to note, Jake, who's been on the constant bad luck train tonight anyway, is Pereira. I don't think he's finished a race, if I'm right in saying, Jake, tonight either. So he'll be looking to just try stay out of trouble this race and get the car across the line.
Yeah, he really does need to get that right, but of course there is one drop week that you can use per first 8 races. For the first 8 races, drop weeks, you can have one of them. You can say one race wasn't good enough, I'm going to go and say I score no points from that, because every other driver in the field has to drop one race, and then the final 4 races of the season are drop week free, flat out, as you drive for the finish. And what does have to be said is also the way the team's championship works right now here, Toby, because it's best 2 out of 3 scores for what is the event. So for each race, only the top 2 cars in a team can score points. So for a team like, say, Bermuda, who has 2 drivers and potentially only one if one fails to finish, they're scoring a lot less points than, say, the Portuguese Sailors, who are consistently getting 2 cars up, Discovery consistently getting 2 cars up, even look at the likes of the Cymru team getting 2 cars up.
It is. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Definitely for us, the Constructors' Championship up in the air, and it does help when you've got that consistency there. But I mean, when in retrospect to that, if you take a look at the contrasting drivers' standings, yes, you can have those 2 cars up there, but of course, if you're wanting to get everyone in the drivers' standings of your team up there as well to also make a statement, and if Pereira has another round like this, where he, if he comes to another race evening and fails to score the points and fails to finish the race, then he won't have much of a choice, because he can only drop one of those rounds, of course.
Yes, most certainly, but for the time being, practice is over. The race in just a minute's time. This is how your grid will look then for the final race of the night. Henry Reeder on pole position with Carlos Diguez alongside. Greenfield there in 3rd. In 4th is Max Wright. Then you got McLeod Evans and Cesare Rizzo. Hall and Melrose, Van Gool and Vervaker. Stevens there and Janowski. Simpson, Newman, Ferreira, Bibby, Murray, Christie, Mulder, Plumley, Hadfield, Pereira and Peterson. So, There is no Alex Everett, and that is so crucial for the points because he scores absolutely nothing in that respect. It has certainly not ended up well for him, but you can see the cars gridding up. You can see everyone just trying to get there as quickly as they can. You can see the potential pressure that there is on 23 drivers here in for what is the final race of the night, all looking for that opportunity to arise, to be the best that they can be. Their engines, they're revving. The final time tonight, we're waiting for potentially a green flag coming up in just about now. Here we go. We are underway for what is the final round of the evening. And well, what a great start from Jason Greenfield. Rizzo's got a stormer as well. It's going to be Diguez who's going to fall through the field. And now you can see Melro in a great position then, just waiting, staying patient here. Couple of drivers looking for it. There's contact midway through the field. Diguez there, going over Rizzo now, taking evasive action onto the grass. Not worked out in that respect, but not as big as what it could have been. And it's going to be Harry joining the back cars, taking to the grass. I think I saw the car there of Kip Stevens take to the grass. Another big wiggle on cold tyres then for Carlos Diguez, who's really struggling here in these early stages. It's certainly not working out the way he would have envisioned it, but for the time being, it just seems everyone's okay just for the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Julian Janowski very aggressive on the start. He barged and bashed his way past a good few cars there. Was very lucky not to take any of them out. As I'm currently looking at the battle between Van Gool and Mera, that has just ended in Melro's favour. Melro in the lead now, and now Julian Janowski all over the back of Van Gool as well. Very aggressive start. I was quite surprised he was able to take that much risk given his position in the standings, but he obviously felt like there wasn't anything to lose, and he's definitely helped himself. Oh, and I think that's Diguez and McLeod Evans there. Diguez almost just losing the rear there, Jake, trying to get a good run on McLeod Evans there. Very, very close, and almost causing quite an incident early on, but there's 3 wide on the straight now. That is Hall, Greenfield, and Melra was 3 abreast. It's the best, of course, as they say, on the straight. Very tight coming through the first corner now, Jake, and it's all kicked off early on.
Cesare Rizzo on pit road. He must have some form of damage, because now you look at what's going on. Melra around the outside, Janowski around the outside. Greenfield has been swamped. There's the Bermuda driver, and now here comes Peter Van Gool. Looking at the inside, which turns to the outside for turn number 5. No, wait behind just for one moment, please, because that move is not certainly going to happen just yet. If you look at the battle for the leaders, though, there's 4 cars all there. Max Wright, Henry Reeder, Craig McLeod Evans, and Carlos Diguez, all looking for that opportunity to score some solid points. And McLeod Evans here, he's taking a lot of a risk here, not fully defending any lines, but he's doing just enough at the moment, Toby, just to defend Diguez. He might look at the inside into the right-hander. He does, but the nose is chopped off and he can't make the move.
Yeah, that's what Diguez tried last time, Jake. As I'm just hearing as well, that after that incident, Rizzo did end up pitting. I'm not sure if that's for repairs or for a retirement, but he's definitely in the pits, and seemingly that's his evening over. Is that about for the lead up there? Is that Henry Reeder and Max Wright very, very, very close? Almost a swap of positions there. Big train forming yet again, but the iron wall of defence is going to be tested again by Diguez this lap, Jake, and I think that's Max Wright thinking about a move. There it is. That was the opportunity.
Yeah,
and the fruit.
Let me go then. Let's go. There's the opportunity gone for Henry Reeder. Then he drops down into 4th, potentially 5th, as he has himself Stephen Hall looking up the inside, and he brakes too late again, and he'll lose even more space as he drops it to his teammate Julian Janowski as well. Certainly not working out in all that respect for Reeder. He's trying to join on, but he has no room, no time, no energy, and it's certainly not paid off. But we have a leading train of 6 and an even bigger train behind looking to try and get on the back of this. We've got the top 17 split by 7.5 seconds right now. You've got to be joking, surely. But Max Wright, he's a very established driver, holding the lead, and if he can hold on to the end, it will be 2 England drivers with a win, and that will be so crucial, Toby, as they head for turn number 1.
Yeah, definitely talking about the points like we did in practice, that will help them quite a fair bit. But if it's not too late, oh, who's that? Steaming up the inside, hits Diguez on the side and spins himself out. Who was that? That's
Melro.
That's very unlike Melro to make such an amateur mistake like that. That was a big one, could have caused a lot more incidents. Diguez's chances definitely hindered. He's now been hit by a Cymru car of Hall behind. Janowski going up the outside. of Hall. Is he going to be able to hold it on this occasion? Yes, he is. Pulls off that sweeping manoeuvre we saw from Ferreira earlier on in the race. But I'm curious to see what happened with Melra there, because that was very unlike him, Jake.
He just got a little bit too late on the brakes by my reckoning, didn't take a tyre on the grass or anything, just steamrolled it down the inside, a dive bomb which doesn't quite work out, and of course he just didn't get it slowed down, had to use another car as a brake, and in the end it hasn't really costed too much, but for the time being, Julian Janowski in the third race of the night could be the main benefactor once again, because he is really in an opportunity here to push. And while Max Wright for the moment holds the lead, Craig McLeod-Evans for the moment in second, it's Daiguez in third here for what is the Portuguese Sailors. News coming in back from all the way in race number 1. What has happened with him is that he did have a penalty there, but he does choose to appeal it right now. So that will go on to Imola if the penalty does still stand. But look at this train in the middle of the field. Fantastic battling going on. Bibby looks up the inside of Plumley and gets the move sorted, and we can still see some moving and shaking here. Look at Simpson versus Newman right now, Toby, because look at that opportunity to the inside, not going to happen. Runs a little bit wide, opportunity still arises.
Yeah, definitely just going to cut you off a tiny bit as well. Janowski is battling for that podium, and this will be a fantastic result if he can get it done. Almost so many opportunities that he could have taken, but he chose not to. In complete retrospect compared to his start, where he took every risk that was necessary. Good battle for the podium, but now if we look further up the field, McLeod-Evans on this lap has gained an enormous amount of time on Max Wright. This is a lot closer than I was expecting it to be coming up to the final corner this time around, and it's all about the final corner exit here. Whoever gets the better exit will probably have the position into turn 1. Max Wright going defensive already from McLeod-Evans. The defence against the defender. How good of an offender, though, is McLeod-Evans? Not going to be able to do it on this time around, I don't think, Jake. But as we look further back, Daiguez and Janowski side by side. Janowski gets to position. Is Daiguez going to attempt to come back? Yes, he is, but he's not going to be able to pull it off on this occasion, Jake.
No, he won't. Janowski up into the podium. McLeod-Evans looking to be the aggressor then in the situation with Max Wright. But they've got to work together to get away from a very, very quick Julian Janowski, a championship leading Julian Janowski, who of course his main rival here is not in this race, who will not be scoring any points, and now you have to feel Janowski is really in the driving seat for this championship. On this one result alone, Everett will score 0, and well, there's a potential for even 100 points here for Julian Janowski, if not even more if he can keep it clean. You can see the gaps now starting to dwindle down further and further. It'll be up to McLeod-Evans to be the iron wall, the imperial iron wall once again. But for the moment, Wright can stay safe and harboured in his car, as he knows he's got the race lead for the time being here, Toby.
You say that, but I think this time around McLeod-Evans is just close enough to try something. Just depends on how well Max Wright is going to defend. Janowski is just sitting there out of the slipstream, waiting for something to happen. McLeod-Evans has outbroken him. Is McLeod-Evans going to try it around the outside? Surely not. He's going to get bumped by Wright. He's going to go a bit wide. Janowski's got, you can almost feel Janowski's grin from his helmet from up here in the comm box, as he's just exactly what he wanted to happen has happened. They've had a moment, and that's given him the opportunity, but we remember how good of Evans is at defending. Not going to let Janowski through, even if he is the championship leader. And obviously all the aggressive manoeuvres at the start from Janowski start to make sense when you realise that his title rival is not going to be scoring, and this is where he could bridge the gap. But this four-car battle for the lead is absolutely something else. Daiguez definitely there, definitely wanting to prove his mettle, and I fancy him to make a move on Janowski there. Not going to happen. Thinks better of it, Jake.
Yes, he does there. Just wasn't enough room, but now Janowski turns from defender to offender. What a run! He's gone out of the corner, and they'll be side by side for the last. Here, and McLeod-Evans can't do anything about it. We'll have to run it around the outside. The room's given. They're side by side. And well, now it's all about who's got the slipstream. And the answer is McLeod-Evans has that. Janowski cannot punch through the air quick enough. And you can see here the gap 0.6 of a second. But you can see, hasn't cleared him just yet. On the brakes they go into turn number 1. Julian Janowski looking for a way through, still hasn't got it sorted. Outside line now for turn number 3. It's all about who's the most aggressive, who wants it more. This is superb defending from McLeod-Evans, who now has the inside, but sweeping around the outside, still holding it.
Oh,
and
big
no,
contact.
there is contact between the two, and now you can still see they both hold it. Janowski has it, but it's 2 positions lost for McLeod-Evans instead of 1.
There was contact
and
there.
And now
off.
he will spear
into the side.
Yep, he will spear into the car of what is Stephen Hall.
I'm sorry for cutting you off there, Jake. It's just so hard to resist shouting out. There's just so much adrenaline here in the combox. You can only imagine what the adrenaline's like down there on the driving floor. That is our racetrack. I'm sorry about cutting you off. That was a nightmare for Craig McLeod-Evans, wasn't it? It was just defended so well. That's not what he deserved. That's not what he deserved at all. But now he's got Newman looking up the inside. It looks like he's about to lose the position. Be lucky if he doesn't have damage after that. There's more contact. He gets pushed out wide by Newman there, and that's going to allow Simpson through as well. Gone from an absolute dream to a nightmare here for McLeod-Evans. And Janowski looking around the outside for the lead, get him going for the cutback, Jay, and his contact, big contact, they've both gone off, and he's somehow, Matt Wright has managed to keep it on the gravel, on the racetrack, sorry, avoiding the gravel. Janowski now getting overtaken by what is Carlos Daiguez. If he can hold it around the outside, very close to making contact again, but a lot of bumping and banging here in the third race. You said it was going to be a treat, Jake, and it's certainly nothing less than that.
The top 14 are split by 7.7 seconds. The top 3 are split by 8/10. And now Janowski's got to do it all over again. We're halfway through this one. Max Wright resolute in defence, trying to make sure that he held that position. You could say that was a little bit cheeky from both ends, but for the time being, Max Wright has the lead, and he's held on to it for a very long time. Big shout out to Adam Hadfield right now. He's up in P number 6, and he started in 21st. He's up a massive 15 positions right now, showing his class. But we've got to look at the leaders here, because you've got to see Carlos Daiguez up into that slipstream. We're going to have to talk about weaving here a little bit, because a couple of laps ago, Max Wright made 2 orders of changes, and you certainly can't do that in terms of driving standards.
Yeah, definitely not, but Max Wright is very, very tentative on the braking into turn 1. He's so early, and it just shows Daiguez and Janowski now going side by side. Daiguez has the slipstream, but of course he's going to be blocked. He can't really outbrake him because of just how slow Max Wright is through the corners. Look at these two side by side. Is it too late for a bet? I don't think it is, because I'm going to put my money right here, right now on Daiguez. What a performance this race he's having as he keeps it on the inside of Janowski now. Janowski looking around the outside. Is he going to be able to do it? He's got the drive, but is he going to get held up by the turbulent air, effectively, of Max Wright in front of him? Definitely not on this occasion. Gets Daiguez up the inside, and job done, Jake.
Solid move. What a move that was from Julian Janowski. We've had a few crackers here at Summit Point, and it's certainly not over just yet, because Max Wright and Janowski 2, Electric Boogaloo, could just turn into what is this race. This is certainly shaping itself up to be absolutely fantastic as we cross ourselves 12 minutes and 15 seconds. We got ourselves 1/3 of the race remaining, and you have to say there are battles up, there are battles down, left and right at the moment, and we're going to look here at this battle between Craig McLeod-Evans and Gabriel Pereira, battle 13th and 14th on circuit. To the outside goes Pereira. There's a little bit of touching going on, but they remain side by side for the moment. And you don't know where to look right now, because you look at Nathaniel Simpson, he's being hounded right now by Robert Plumley here, Toby.
Yeah, definitely. Pereira and Evans then, that's definitely the battle of bad luck at the moment, isn't it? Who's going to get the bad luck shift in this particular battle? We're not sure at the moment. Pereira's getting a bit of luck, keeping it ahead of McLeod-Evans, looking all over the field. I have been watching Plumley hound Simpson for quite some time, like you mentioned. They were very, very close coming off the final corner, going down the front straight. Plumley, another contender for bad luck of the evening. So much bad luck, so much action, just a bit of everything everywhere you look. But as I say that, look how close Janowski is to Max right now, and look how close Daiguez is to Janowski now. This might be a double position loss as this contact. They've both gone off, they've both gone onto the grass, they've both held it. Daiguez got the grin the size of the moon as he goes around the inside, but through the inside. Now thinking about the outside, is this going to be a double maneuver for Daiguez? If it is, it's going to be absolutely perfect, and I think he is. Cutback mentality perhaps for Max Wright. He's managing to hold it, but you've got to remember, Daiguez has now got the inside for the next corner. Is
yes, he does.
Max Wright going to be holding it through the outside, Jake? I'll let you take over from here.
Well, I think he does, but here comes Janowski. Gonna go 3 wide, maybe, no. But now Van Gool on the back. This is certainly opening up here as it's a 4-car train. Contact! And Max Wright will head himself into the barrier, and his race is over and done with for now, and it all ended in tears. It threatened once, it threatened twice, but 3 times my lady, and over goes Diguez, who feels he's the aggressor and knows he's the aggressor, and he will pull himself out of this race, giving the lead to Janowski and possibly the race win as well. Van Gool's still there, Viveka 3rd, Hadfield 4th, Stevens 5th, Hall 6th. Oh my word, what have we just seen? That is the move that could have potentially just decided a championship.
That could be still very early on, of course, but yeah, that's definitely going to help Janowski in his battle against Everett. Definitely, that couldn't have been a better outcome. Heartbreak end for Max Wright and Diguez there. That's effectively neutralised their battle for the lead, and that's the end of them. A lot of cars actually in the pit. That's Max Wright definitely retiring from this race, Jake, but nightmare end. We had a fairy tale end in the last race, but it's been a nightmare end this time around as Janowski leads, coming on to the next set of corners, and unless Van Gool has got something, who has been hounded by his teammate and has further been hounded by Hadfield, it's still quite open, but you've got to say on paper, Janowski is looking very likely at this stage.
Janowski doesn't have to push as hard as you might imagine here. He's just got to stay calm and stay cool. Peter Van Gool does have a race win to his name of his own accord, and that one's at Daytona, where we will finish the championship this season round. That will be all the way in round number 12, week 13 action. But we're here in now, week 4 of iRacing, week 3 of your BSR MSA Kia World Series. Look at the gap as they cross the line. Janowski was 0.6 of a second now. It is still 6-7 of a second, so you have to say Gap's eking out slowly, but not enough to really cause anything. Gap's just opening up a little bit, not seeing the close quarters battling that we did in the opening half of this race. Final 4 minutes have just ticked over here, Toby, and you have to say it's one of those things. One instant can decide so many factors, and Janowski, he's just pulled out an ace from a 7.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, did you see how small of an incident it was between Diguez and Wright? I mean, just that tiny little tap for not even 1/10 of a second. I don't think their bumpers were connected. That ended effectively both of their races. Bibby all over the back of Robert Plumley at the moment. I think that's the closest battle we have on track for now. The virtual reality race, of course, racing here tonight in virtual reality, which will definitely make it scary, a lot more scary if he does manage to bring that thing into the wall. Pete Newman going very wide up there. Did you see that, Jake? Which has now caused Nathaniel Simpson to have a go at the inside. It'll be cheeky, it'll be daring, but it's not going to happen. But Robert Plumley, in the virtual reality, like we said, has just seen that in the best possible seat that you could imagine, Jake, as Simpson goes defensive.
147 looking for a move on the 100 then. And you can see Plumley desperate to try and get something out of this battle for 7th, 8th and 9th on circuit. You can see he gets so close, there's almost contact. I think there was a little bit, but for the moment holds on to it just for the time being. Gap at the front has eked out to what is now 1 second almost exactly. Battle for your podium going on. Viveka versus Hadfield. Turn around, Hadfield. It's gone wrong. He'll head for the trees and his race is over. His race is done. His race is gone. And Hadfield was on for a podium, and Viveka's contact has ended that one in plain sight. But now Hall, Stevens, Viveka, 3 cars battling for the podium. It's not over yet. Tears are starting to fall and weep all over my guitar.
It's unbelievable. So many crashes occurring. I think there's a lot of tension that was building towards this 3rd race. There's been a lot of drivers slanging between them in the chats between races. There's definitely been tension building. Still keeping my eye on the Simpson and Newman battle at this time. It is looking like Newman might be under a bit of pressure from Simpson this time around. He's got the slipstream, but so has Plumley. So this is definitely, Newman goes defensive. Simpson looking to the outside. Is he going to be able to outbrake him? He's on the brakes later. He's looking for the swoop around the outside. I might see some more tears about to come out from these drivers' eyes, but no, these two, outstanding driving, have managed to keep each other from hitting each other, and beautiful slipstream forming for Plumley as he looks to the inside. Not going to happen, but I think that is Pete Newman about to surrender his position to Simpson. I say that, Newman gets the better drive, and I think that's Robert Plumley there looking for an up the inside. Simpson following around the outside. A bit of contact there between the England car, and more contact. Plumley goes spinning halfway, and the bad luck is back, Jake.
Bad luck back, but there's one lap to go after this, and it's not gone well for Robert Plumley. Nothing he could do. Bibby was on the grass. Nothing to do. There is a battle for your podium, and the battle for the race win has just opened out too much for Peter Van Gool. His dream of a second race win is going to be over, you have to say, barring an incident. But we're going to focus on the battle for the podium right now. Roy Vervaeke versus Kip the Hairflick Stevens right now. This is a really good scrap. This is of the consistency men. The two men who should have race wins, but don't. To the outside goes Kip the Hairflick Stevens, down in towards turn numbers 1 and 2, and well, for the moment, you can see, so crucial to hold off the double podium for the Euro team. That's all they're thinking of right now. Van Gool's doing everything he needed to do. Vervaeke now just has to stay calm, compassionate, composed, as he heads himself into turn number 3. Not close enough this time by, I don't think, for what is Kip the Hairflick Stevens. I don't think the Bermuda driver is going to do enough. Simpson is through on Pete Newman. Newman can't do anything. Bibby will go to the trees as well, and his race will be called over and done with. But we have to look now at your race leader and your championship leader, because he's done this at every single race this season. He has proven that he can go super consistent. It's 2 podiums yet again. It is a race win yet again. It's his 3rd. He goes on and takes himself to a level that no one else can catch him. Eat your heart out. Julian Janowski wins here at Summit Point round 9. Peter Van Gool will come across the line in 2nd, and the drive to the line for 3rd in the end is gone to Roy Vervaeke. Paul Pip Stevens on the line. Wow. It did promise, it did deliver, and Julian Janowski is a 3-time winner this season.
The tension that was there was building. Still a battle going on between Mulder and Christie and Ferreira, I believe, at the moment, coming up towards the line. But yeah, that was a fantastic race. Janowski reaped the benefits of everyone else going into the wall, causing incidents with each other, and looks like the winner of this battle is going to be Christie, followed by Mulder and Ferreira, Jick.
Yes, it's a battle of attrition in the end of it, and the attrition value, well, it goes to Julian Janowski. There was contact issues throughout that 3rd race. It will have to be looked at by stewards, but provisionally, it just seems right now that Julian Janowski has a fantastic race win. He wins in the end by 2 seconds over Peter Van Gool there in the number 6. Roy Vervaeke will come across the line in 3rd, Hall 4th, Kip Stevens in 5th, Simpson there in 6th, Newman 7th. And there you can see Gabriel Pereira finishing his race in 8th, Plumley 9th, McLeod Evans, he rounds out the top 10, but there's Petterson, Murray, Christie, Mulder, Melrose, and there is the attrition value. Lewis Bibby 1 lap down, Adam Hadfield doesn't finish, Max Wright, Diguez, Greenfield, Reeder, Ricardo Ferreira, and also Cesare Rizzo as well. But we do have time for one more driver interview for you, and his name is Peter Van Gool. It's been a while since we last talked to him. So, Peter, welcome to the booth. What a fantastic 2nd place it is for you here in the final race of the night. Just what you could have asked for with all the attrition and all the cars going off at 6s and 7s.
Oh yeah, I was so excited, and it's really hot in here, so I'm sweating my t-shirt off, and I was really lucky that a couple of guys made a mistake, and after then following Julian Janowski, I made a mistake in the penultimate lap, because I was just waiting for him to make one, but good result anyway.
Good result anyway. It's a double podium for the Euro team, and that's so crucial for the constructors. A 2-3 result here, especially when you look at the cars around you, drivers not being there. You have to say it's a fantastic result heading on towards the next rounds of the championship.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, because Roy, I think Roy is keeping the other guys a bit off and letting me have in the 2nd place. So congrats to Roy and to Julian on the 1st place, and thanks for having us.
Thanks for having you, but next time out in 1 week, you're heading over to Imola. It's going to be a fantastic circuit. It's the first time that we get to go there in these Kias, and well, according to pre-season testing that we did over at Imola, the car really suits the track. It's a lovely fast-flowing style. The track's another tight one, but because it's longer, you have to say, it's certainly going to produce some great racing, don't you think?
I think Imola is going to suit me well, because I've done in races in the official ones, and I had some wins there, and I rather prefer the faster tracks and with some slipstreaming, so I think it's going to suit me as well as Jürgen and Roy.
You think it's going to suit you? Well, we hope it does. Peter Van Gool, 2nd place in the final race of your evening, but that is all we have time for this evening. A huge thank you to all the drivers, all the viewers. You got a massive thanks to what is Samuli Kumo behind the cameras. I have been Jake Sparey. That has been Toby Burn. And this was a fantastic 3 races at Summit Point. It did deliver, but Janoski comes out smelling of roses when every rival around him crumbles and bows and begs at their feet. Good night.